Okay, are you ready? Because today we are diving deep into a show that, well, I think it's safe to say it's a cultural icon.
Friends.
Friends, the one with the purple apartment and that catchy theme song you just can't get out of your head.
You know, it's been ages since it went off the air,
It
right?
has been.
And people are still
Still
obsessed.
obsessed. Why is that? I think it's high time we unpack that.
I agree.
So obviously we can't discuss Friends without talking about those amazing characters
Right.
like Rachel, Monica, and Phoebe.
Of them,
They're all on these really awesome journeys of self-discovery, and I just think they're so relatable even today.
absolutely. Each of them shows us a different way of figuring out life. And
Yeah.
honestly, they give us all sorts of goals, like friendship, career, and don't even get me started on their apartment.
On Monica's apartment, forget about it.
Amazing.
But before we get totally lost in that purple dream, let's start with Rachel Green.
Okay.
Because, wow, talk about a character who completely reinvents herself.
Hmm.
From a runaway bride to, like, a fashion icon.
That scene where she leaves Barry at the altar, talk about a turning point.
Looks like she's saying goodbye to her old life and hello to a whole new world.
She dives right in head first.
And speaking of diving in head first, can we talk about those early days at Central Perk?
Oh my gosh.
I remember when she had to make coffee for the first time.
I cringed.
I almost dropped my mug.
But you know what, though? That's kind of what we love about her.
Yeah.
She's just so real.
Yes.
We've all had those moments where we're the newbie, totally clueless and hoping we don't mess everything up.
Totally. And then there's her relationship with Rice. Talk about a roller coaster.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Could they be any more complicated?
Seriously, they invented will they, won't they?
They did. They really did. But you know what's interesting about their relationship? It's not just the romance.
It's not.
They both have these huge ambitions. You know, big career dreams.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those dreams, they kind of pull them in opposite directions.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to figure out who they are as individuals at the same time as trying to be a couple.
Exactly. And let's not forget about all the other guys in the picture.
No, yeah.
Mark, Joshua.
Oh, yep.
I feel like those relationships weren't just like romantic side trips.
No, they were learning experiences.
They were. It's like her dating life was this crash course in self-discovery.
Which is something, let's face it, we can all relate to.
Definitely. She starts off as this, I don't know, kind of spoiled princess.
Right.
But after all that, she grows into this strong, independent woman.
She figures out what she wants and she goes for it.
And she shows us that it's okay to take risks,
Totally.
to maybe stumble a little along the way,
It's part of the process.
and to totally reinvent yourself.
Because you never know, the most amazing things can happen when you step outside that comfort zone.
So true. And speaking of stepping outside your comfort zone,
Yes.
how about Monica Geller?
Oh, Monica.
The queen of clean, the chef extraordinaire.
The woman who could organize a hurricane.
Exactly. Please tell me more.
Okay. But first, can we just appreciate the irony here?
What do you mean?
This woman, she is super organized, right? And she falls for Chandler,
Who is?
basically the king of chaos.
You're not kidding. Talk about opposites attract.
Yeah, but their relationship actually tells us a lot about Monica.
How so?
I think her, need for control,
Yeah.
her obsession with perfection, it comes from somewhere,
Where?
Well, think about it. She was always competing with Ross, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get their parents' attention.
Oh, right.
Always the perfect daughter,
So she channeled all that energy into being the ultimate homemaker,
the hostess with the mostest.
the culinary goddess of the group.
And let's not forget about Alessandro's.
Oh, that episode.
Talk about a career crisis.
Major setback.
But even when things go wrong,
And they really did.
she bounces back.
Totally. She gets blacklisted from, like, the entire restaurant industry.
And she still ends up running her own amazing catering business.
So resilient.
Such a powerhouse.
It's a good reminder that we all face setbacks.
We do.
But it's how you handle them that matters.
Absolutely.
So what's the takeaway from Monica's story? It's okay to aim for perfection. Just don't let it consume you.
Right.
And remember, sometimes the best things in life,
They're a little messy.
a little
A
imperfect,
slightly lopsided souffle, maybe.
or a totally spontaneous moment with your friends.
Speaking of embracing imperfections, let's talk about Phoebe Buffet,
Oh, Phoebe. Free spirit of the group.
the queen of smelly cat.
Our wonderfully weird, hilariously quirky Phoebe.
Where do we even start?
I know, right? She's like this breath of fresh air, always looking at things from a different angle.
It's so refreshing.
It really is. But her sunny personality, it comes from a place of having gone through some tough stuff, too.
Yeah.
I mean, her childhood,
Oh my gosh.
it was rough.
Growing up homeless after her mom. That's heavy.
It is. It's amazing how she stayed so positive.
It makes you wonder if her quirky humor, it's her way of coping, transforming pain into laughter.
That's powerful.
It is. And you can't deny she brought so much joy to the group, to everyone.
She did.
Always challenging the rules, thinking outside the box.
Always reminding everyone it's okay to be different.
And you see that in her career choices too, right?
You do. Like massage therapist.
Yeah. And then there's the music,
Okay, let's just say her musical talents were unique.
to say the least.
But Smelly Cat is a masterpiece in its own way.
Absolutely.
And you know what? She shows us that success doesn't have to look a certain way.
It doesn't.
It's about finding what fulfills you,
And staying true to yourself.
even if that means singing about smelly cats in a coffee shop.
Which, let's be honest, is pretty awesome.
It is. And speaking of awesome, can we talk about her love story with Mike?
Okay, now those two were perfect for each other.
They really were. Proof that you don't have to change who you are to find love.
Exactly.
Mike accepted Phoebe, quirks and all,
Every bit of her.
and that's what made their relationship so special.
He saw her and he loved her unconditionally.
And she learned to let her guard down, to be vulnerable.
Beautiful.
It really is. It reminds us that love is about finding someone who celebrates your weirdness.
All of it.
Not in spite of it, but because of it.
And that's why Phoebe is so inspiring, you know?
I know.
It's okay to be different
Embrace your individuality.
and find joy in the unconventional.
Be yourself, even if you stand out.
Especially if you stand out.
Love that. So 3 incredible women,
Amazing friends.
each with their own unique journey.
And so much to teach us.
And I think that's just the beginning of why Friends is so special.
It is.
But we'll have to dive deeper into all of that after the break.
You know, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
What's...
How Rachel, Monica, and Phoebe,
Yeah.
their journeys are so different.
They are.
But they come together to show us, like, what it really means to be a woman.
In your 20s, 30s.
Figuring things out.
Exactly. It's like
Mm.
they each have a piece of the puzzle.
They do.
And together they create this whole picture of, like, female friendship.
Ambition.
And let's be real, a good amount of chaos.
Oh, yeah. Definitely chaos. So you've got Rachel breaking free from all those expectations,
Right.
finding her own way, even if it means starting from zero.
Love that.
And Monica. Monica teaches us it's okay to, go for it.
Strive for excellence.
Yeah, but also embrace those little imperfect moments along the way.
Because life is messy.
It is. And then there's Phoebe,
Our girl Phoebe.
reminding us that sometimes the best path is the one less traveled,
Totally.
the one that lets you be your true self.
Quirky and all.
Exactly. Even if it means singing about smelly cats.
Which we fully support.
Of course. But it's that mix of personalities, right?
Yes.
All those different ways of looking at life.
That's what makes them so relatable.
Totally. I mean, who doesn't have a friend group like that?
Where everyone is completely different.
But somehow it just works.
You just click. Like they balance each other out.
They do.
They challenge each other. They support each other.
And they celebrate each other's wins.
Even when those wins involve like a giant meatball sub.
Or ridiculously expensive shoes.
Exactly. And speaking of wins,
Yeah.
let's talk about how Friends tackles these big life themes.
Oh, yeah.
Like independence, resilience,
finding yourself.
things we all deal with no matter what.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
It's universal. Like Rachel's journey, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
From daddy's little girl to a total boss lady in the fashion world.
That's a masterclass in breaking free
It is.
from expectations, from society, and finding your own way.
And Monica.
Monica, her determination is amazing.
She just does not give up.
No. Whether it's becoming a chef or finally having that family she always wanted.
Talk about resilience.
Right. And Phoebe
Phoebe just owns it.
owns her true self no matter what.
That's such a powerful lesson.
It is self-acceptance, finding joy.
On your own terms.
Exactly. They're like talking examples of how to adult
They are.
with all the messiness and the good stuff,
They make mistakes, they fall down
but they always get back up.
together.
That's the important part. And that's why Friends is such a comfort show,
It really is.
even after all these years.
Because it reminds us that we're not alone.
In the struggle, in the figuring things out part,
And that sometimes the best way to get through it all is with your people.
your friends, your tribe.
The ones who have your back no matter what.
Speaking of having each other's backs, Can we just take a minute to appreciate the humor in the show?
The humor.
I'm pretty sure I've injured myself from laughing too hard.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I still quote Joey all the time.
How you doing?
Exactly. And Phoebe's smelly cat.
Instant mood booster.
Every time. But they didn't shy away from serious topics either,
They didn't.
like Monica and infertility.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
But they handled it so well.
With sensitivity and humor.
It's a tough balance to strike.
They found it. And we can't forget about the romance.
Oh, the romance.
Ross and Rachel, Monica and Chandler, Phoebe and Mike.
All those ups and downs.
Each couple was so different.
But they all taught us something about love
And relationships.
and finding someone who gets you.
Ross and Rachel, they were the classic, complicated but meant to be
The
couple.
chemistry was undeniable.
Even when they were driving each other crazy.
It was. Like, sometimes love is a journey.
Not just a destination.
Then you've got Monica and Chandler.
Talk about a slow burn.
That turned into something amazing.
They proved that friendship can be the foundation for a great love story.
And that laughter is the best medicine.
Especially when life throws you curveballs.
And Phoebe and Mike,
They were all about acceptance.
they showed us that true love is about loving someone for who they truly are.
Quirks and all.
It's pretty amazing how Friends manages to blend all of this together.
I know, right?
Humor, romance, friendship, personal growth,
And it all feels relatable.
but also kind of aspirational.
Like we want that in our lives.
We do. And speaking of wanting things in our lives,
Yeah.
the dynamic between the 6 friends,
Oh, their friendship.
it was pure magic.
It was chosen family.
But chosen family, but just as strong.
They were there for each other through everything.
Good times, bad times,
Celebrating the wins, comforting each other during heartbreak.
always making each other laugh.
It's that unwavering support.
That sense of belonging.
I think that's what really connected with people.
It reminded us we all need that.
Or tribe.
People who get you, who love you no matter what.
Who make even the boring stuff feel fun.
Serious friendship goals.
Like who wouldn't want to hang out at Central Perk with their crew?
Drinking coffee, sharing stories.
Laughing until you cry. It's that feeling of community.
Being part of something bigger.
That makes friends so timeless.
It does.
It reminds us how important connection is.
Building those meaningful relationships.
And cherishing the moments that make life worth living.
Big and small.
Exactly.
Isn't it funny?
What is? How a show about 6 friends just hanging out in New York City can feel like, I don't know, a warm hug.
It's true. It doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Or what's going on in your life.
Friends is just this, like, universal language.
Of laughter.
Friendship.
And that kind of messy but amazing journey of figuring yourself out.
And I think that's why it just keeps resonating with new audiences.
Totally. It's all about those core human experiences.
Yeah, those things we all go through.
Awkward first dates, the struggle of job hunting.
The joy of finding your people.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the nostalgia factor.
Oh, the nostalgia.
For a lot of us watching Friends.
It's like taking a trip back in time.
To when things were a little simpler.
Like the biggest problem you had was whether or not Ross and Rachel were on a break.
Oh, don't even get me started on that one.
I know, right?
Wow.
We could debate that forever.
But you're right, there's something so comforting about revisiting those storylines.
The catchphrases,
Yeah.
the moments that made us laugh.
Until we cried.
Speaking of those iconic moments,
Yeah.
can we talk about the show's impact on pop culture?
Oh, it's huge.
Pivot, we were on a break. How you doing?
They're part of our everyday language.
I know. Friends has become this cultural phenomenon.
It keeps on giving.
And I think it's because the characters feel like real people.
They do.
People you'd want to be friends with.
People who make you laugh, make you cry.
You feel everything right along with them.
They're not perfect.
They mess up,
They're flawed.
but they're always there for each other.
And that's what makes them so lovable.
They remind us that it's okay to be vulnerable,
It's okay to make mistakes.
to be a work in progress.
And they show us that even when life is crazy, there's always room for laughter,
For connection
for those little moments of pure joy.
that make it all worthwhile.
So what's the legacy of Friends?
I think it's about celebrating the power of friendship,
Finding your people.
embracing all of life's imperfections.
Beautifully said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Friends, what's one thing you want our listeners to think about?
Ooh, good question.
Why do you keep hitting that replay button?
Yes.
What is it about this show that makes you come back for more?
Is it the humor, the characters, the nostalgia?
Or something else entirely?
I love that. A little invitation for everyone to think about, why this show has become such a comfort for so many of us.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, I think the reason Friends has lasted so long,
Wait, because it offers something really special.
a reminder that even when the world feels chaotic,
Overwhelming.
there's always a place for laughter
Connection.
and the support of good friends.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, I think it's time to grab a cup of coffee
Put on our favorite episode.
and settle in for a night with our favorite friends.
Sounds perfect.